Hello, I am Copper Valor and I'm going to do a video on playing Nintendo Switch Sports without Nintendo Switch Online. So we're back at the main screen here. You can see Nintendo Switch Online. It's a paid service. So if you're not paying for service, I'm going to show you what you can do in the game. When you start, you're going to be offered these three options: play globally, play locally, and play with friends. And you won't be able to do play globally. It says play online. You won't be able to play with friends. It says play with faraway friends online. You will only be able to select play locally, people within the same room. So we'll go in there. You have 6 games to choose from: volleyball, badminton, bowling, soccer, chambara, and tennis. You can see you can play up to 4 players, but all 4 players would have to be in the same room. Alright, so you're given 1 player, 2 players, 3 players, 4 players. Remember, if there's anyone besides you in the room playing, they also need controllers. So we'll go into the first one, and you can see that it's going to set me up with 3 different computer players. It's myself, somebody else on my team is a CPU, and then the other team is CPU players. If you go into 2 players, or 3 players, or 4 players, that means you have other people in your room, and they all need controllers. Only player 1 allows you to play with 3 CPU players. Badminton is 1 player or 2 player. Under 1 player, you can see it's myself and then a CPU. If you go into 2 players, it's going to require that you have controllers for both players. The next one is bowling, and I won't go over the 2 player, 3 player, 4 player. You get the point. You need separate controllers for everyone in the room. We're going to have a choice of lane type, either standard, which is classic bowling, or special, overcome obstacles to knock down pins. The lanes change every time. I made a video about this special one. You can watch that. I won't go into it, but both can be played with 1 player without Nintendo Switch Online. Next, tennis. Again, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4 players, but you need separate players in the room with the other 3 options. Under 1 player, you have yourself as 2 players, and then a CPU as 2 players. And you can change the match length: single match, best of 3, best of 5, I guess that's it. And you can choose the strength of the CPU player. But again, you're going to be playing both players. This takes some getting used to. Okay, Chambara, 1 player or 2 players. 1 player is going to be yourself against a CPU, and you choose the strength of the CPU. 2 players, same thing. You need 2 Joy-Cons. Well, play with 1 Joy-Con controller for each, or play with 2 Joy-Con controllers for each. The 2 is, there's an option to play with 2 swords, and that is the one that uses 2 controllers. I also did a video that included that, so you can go back to my Chambara video and watch that to see how you play with 2 controllers. But otherwise, you can play 1 controller for each person. And soccer, under 1 player, you get 1-on-1, 4-on-4, free practice, and shootout. Shootout, the leg strap is required. I did an entire video on the leg strap, so I won't cover that again. but I will actually link it to the end of this video because it's important. And free practice is just you kicking the ball around. There's no time limit or anything. 4 on 4 is 4 U and 3 CPUs against 4 CPU units. And then 1 on 1 is, of course, U against a CPU unit. And for all of these games, if you don't play them enough and you forget how to play them, there is a section under here called How to Play, and it'll show you how to play volleyball, soccer, and Chambara. And I've already used it before because sometimes I go a week or two without playing, and I'm like, wait, what finger does what? So these are the ones that they think are going to be the most complicated that you're going to have to try it again. And that is it for my video. Those are the games you can play without the Nintendo Switch Online subscription.